welcome to episode 2 of RVing for Beginners. If you missed episode 1, check the link in the description and be sure to watch that. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the things that makes me laugh so much, and that is debunking RVing myths. This is probably one of the 2 videos that I'm most excited to film, the first being traveling with pets because I get to have Finny as a co-host. But I love this video because there are so many RVing myths out there that I'm about to debunk, so let's go ahead and jump straight in. Who is RVing for? Number 1 is that you have to be retired in order to be a full-time or a part-time RVer, and I am living proof that that is not the case. I definitely work. I still work very hard and a lot of hours. I have very flexible hours and I can work from anywhere. So if you can work remotely, which so many jobs nowadays can, you can definitely live this life. I still work, and being retired is probably not something I'll ever experience because I work way too much and I enjoy it too much. But if you want to be an RVer, you don't have to be retired to do it. Number 2, you have to be rich in order to be an RVer, and I am definitely living proof that you do not have to be rich in order to live this life. I am very rich in family and memories and adventures and things like that, but I am not rich in finances. We are very good with our money and we are smart with our finances, but we are not rich. So if you want to be an RVer, you can definitely do it, and without being rich, you just got to be a little bit strategic about how you spend your money. Number 3 is a 2-part. RVing is cheap or RVing is expensive. And both can be true and both cannot be true. It just depends on how you choose to live your life. I've definitely seen the videos out there where you can RV for $500 a month. I know it's true. I know you can boondock a lot. I also know that you can spend a lot of money. We're about in the middle. I do have a video on RVing costs. I'll put that link in the description below, and what we've spent for the first 4 months of our 8-month adventure. And we do spend a little bit more money than we did when we were full-time. But the truth of the matter is, just like a sticks and bricks home, you can live in a very expensive, lavish, extravagant, high-maintenance home, or you can live in a small apartment with 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and have super minimal expenses. RVing life is going to cost whatever you make it. If you want it to be expensive, you have the funds for that, you can make it expensive. If you want it to be cheap because you don't have the funds for that, you can absolutely make a livable life RVing basically on any income. So if you don't have tons and tons of endless income, which I think we all wish we did, but if you don't have that like I don't, you can definitely set up this life to be however it is that's comfortable for you and what your income level is. Number 4 is RVing life is one big vacation. Believe me, I wish it was. I would love to just be on vacation all the time, but for me, I still work, and so there are definitely days where I just spend hours and hours sitting in the RV and working. While I do get to have a beautiful view outside my door a lot of the time, there are definitely times where I'm not even stepping outside, I'm just getting work done. And I know that this is the case for a lot of RVers. For about every 1 day of adventure is 2 or 3 days of just working and getting work done and cleaning and doing regular adulting things. I still have to pay bills, I still have to clean, all that stuff. So it's not exactly one big vacation. Buying your RV. Episode 4 of the RVing for Beginners series is going to be all about choosing the right rig, but there's a few things I want to debunk really quick because I think that they're important to talk about. Number 5 is the bigger the RV, the better. Now, if you have the funds and the financial means to have a 45-foot motorhome and are okay with only parking in limited number of campgrounds, that's totally fine. But I just want to tell you right now that the smaller the RV you have, the more flexibility you have, the less maintenance you have, and the less costs you have. So bigger is not always better, but honestly, you need to find an RV that fits into your financial means and your mechanical abilities, because the bigger the RV, the more it's going to cost and the more maintenance there is. We can just barely handle our 26-foot travel trailer as far as costs and maintenance. It is perfect for us, but don't think that you need to go and get the biggest bus out there. Start small, and if you want to, you can work your way up. Number 6 is the flip side of that, and that is small RVs are not comfortable. RVs are going to be as comfortable as you make them to be. But honestly, it's more about the floor plan than the size of the RV. You just need to make sure that you have a floor plan that fits your lifestyle and accommodates all the things that you need to make your life comfortable. Number 7 is you need to buy a brand new RV. This is definitely not true. There are a lot of people out there who have maintained their RVs very well and they are only gently used. You can definitely start looking into those. Do not feel that you need to buy a brand new RV. So if you're looking at buying an RV, don't feel like you have to go to the lot and look at all the brand new shiny ones. You can definitely check into some used ones and find ones that are in really good condition and save you a lot of money. Number 8 is you have to have a massive truck. This is a really interesting myth because the truth of the matter is it doesn't really matter the size of your truck, it matters the size of your rig. If you have a massive rig, you're gonna need a bigger truck. If you have a small rig, you don't need a very big truck. So just really pay attention to what the numbers are and the specs are of your RV and what the weight of it is, not the weight of it dry, but the weight of it completely filled with water tanks filled and stocked and everything, and see what that weighs, and then determine whether or not the tow capacity of your vehicle is going to allow for it. Number 9 makes me laugh. The mattress that comes with your RV is going to be comfortable and fine. No, not the case. I am sorry, but the mattresses that come in RVs are a joke. They are terrible. I am gonna be fully transparent and say I hate them. I do not like the RV mattresses that come with them. I think that they should just not even bother to put a mattress in there because nobody keeps them. They're terrible. We definitely upgraded. We have a very comfortable mattress in there. I do have a lot of back issues, and so I really had to make sure that I had an RV mattress that was going to be comfortable and I was going to be able to sleep on for years at a time. Do not think that when you buy an RV, you're gonna be just fine with the mattress in there. Just automatically, like mattress and tires, just replace them immediately. Number 10, you need every RV gadget from day one. Not true. You're gonna learn along the way what you need and what you don't need. So do not buy the fancy, all the things that you need from day one. Just start with some of the basics and work your way up there, because as soon as you realize you need an extra sewer hose, you're gonna go out and buy one. If you realize that you need a little bit of a better quality water hose, which you probably will because the water hose does sit in the sun a lot and you get those little pinholes in it pretty easily if you have a cheap hose. So RV gadgets, there are a million out there. Everybody's gonna try to sell you all of theirs. You do not need all of them, but as you're on the road and as you're experiencing the RV life, you're gonna find what you need, what you wanna upgrade, and what you really just don't need. But the one thing that I will say about RV gadgets is you don't know you need them until you need them. And so don't bother spending the money on them in the beginning until you actually end up needing them. Number 11 makes me chuckle, and it is you have to be able to drive your rig perfectly from day one. Obviously not true. Every single RVer had their first day driving their rig. We have all been there. We have all had our first time having to back up into a spot. We've all had all those first days, and you're gonna have yours as well. So if you look out the window and you see somebody parking their rig perfectly the very first time on the very first try, just know they've probably done it hundreds of times, and you will eventually get to that point where you can just park your rig in just about any situation without too much stress. So just know every RVer is going to make mistakes when they're driving, because we've all had our first days at everything. And speaking of mistakes, next week's video is gonna be all about a lot of the mistakes that RVers make for the first time. It's a good chuckle, you're gonna enjoy it, so make sure you click subscribe so that you check out that video. That's next week on episode 3. Planning your trips. Number 12 is RVing is cheaper than hotels. If you look at the very basic numbers of per night at a hotel versus an RV park, of course a hotel is going to be more expensive. We spend about an average of $70 per night on RV parks. That is on the higher end. You can definitely spend a lot less than that, but we spend about $70. Now, if you were to get a hotel for $70, it's going to be like a no-tell motel. It's not going to be very nice. So if you're looking at over $100, maybe even close to $200 a night for a hotel versus $70 for an RV, it sounds like the RV is going to be way cheaper, but you're not factoring in the cost of the RV, the fuel, the maintenance, the upkeep, the upgrades. There are so many expenses involved in RVing that don't factor into that hotel. But what I will tell you, that RV life does offer one thing hotels do not, that is priceless in my book, and that is the comforts of coming home. So yes, it can be a little bit more expensive to be an RVer rather than just traveling in hotels, but I love coming home at the end of a very long day of adventuring. I have Finny with me. I can snuggle up to my fur baby. I've got my fridge stocked with all the food that I want to have. And I've got my bed that is super comfortable and always the exact same bed every single night. No wondering whether or not the mattress is gonna be too hard or I'm gonna have enough pillows. I have my bed. So while the cost might be a little bit different between RVing and hotels, the comfort level of being an RV is so much better than any hotel I've ever been in. Number 13 is national parks are super easy to visit with an RV. This is both true and false. It depends on the size of your rig. We have only taken our RV into a couple of national parks, and that's only because I've been there before and I knew what the roads were like. Those roads can be very narrow, and there's definitely a lot of times where there's no shoulder. If you're in a really small Class C self-contained camper and you have no tow behind, sure, you can absolutely take that into a national park and drive that around inside there. Would we take ours into any national park? Definitely not, because being able to turn around with a tow behind is a very important thing to be able to do, and a lot of national parks don't really have spaces that are large enough to turn around a 50-foot RV if we decide we don't want to go down that road anymore. So it really depends on what size your rig is. Again, going back to the size of your RV matters. I will tell you, the smaller the RV, the better. If you are wanting to travel in national parks and take your RV into national parks and stay inside the RV parks inside there, smaller is better. Under 25 feet, you can fit into 93% of the national parks out there in the US, but I would definitely not blanket statement say that traveling any national park with any RV is going to be fine, because that is definitely not true. Number 14 is something that I actually didn't really know in the beginning, and that is I thought that every RV park had full hookups. And that's also not true. All RV parks are different. Every single RV park is going to be a little bit different from the last one you were at. Some RV parks have tent spots that only have electrical. Some have tent spots that have no electrical. Some have full hookups, some have partial hookups. And usually partial hookups is water and electric. Sewer is not always guaranteed, but you can definitely find out what your hookup situation is going to be by either checking out the campground website or calling them directly and determining whether or not you need full hookups or just partial. I will say, I am often surprised at the lack of price difference between full hookups and partial hookups. If there's an RV park that has both options, it's sometimes only $1 or $2 more to have sewer hookups rather than just electrical and water. And so for us, $1 or $2 more a night to have that sewer hookup and be able to use whatever amount of water we want and not have to worry about not being able to empty our tanks is totally worth it. So just know that you have a wide range of types of hookups that you're gonna have, because there is a wide range of RV parks, and you're definitely gonna wanna watch my video on booking campgrounds as well as what to expect when you go to campgrounds. I think those are episodes 5 and 6, so you're gonna definitely wanna make sure, because I've got all sorts of information for you about campgrounds, because it's one of my favorite things to talk about. Number 15 is all campground booking fees are refundable if your plans change. Not true. Not the case at all. There are definitely RV parks that have a zero refund policy, and you need to make sure that you know what the refund policy is before booking. I often recommend for people not to book RV parks that have a zero refund policy, because I cannot tell you how often life changes, your plans change, the weather affects how you travel. Things can happen. You can break something on your RV and you're stuck in one place for a while. And if you have non-refundable RV parks, it doesn't even make sense to me that they have this as an option for some RV parks, because there is no life that needs more flexibility than being an RVer. So make sure you check that the campgrounds that you're booking have a flexible refund policy, because there are times where you're definitely going to need it. Number 16 is boondocking is always free. Now, I'm gonna be doing an entire video on boondocking, but what I want you to understand is that while, yes, camping on the ground of BLM land or state park land can be free, the reality is there are expenses that still come with boondocking. You still need to be able to dump your tanks, and so that does sometimes cost money. There are places you can do it for free, but if you want to do it inside an RV park that you are not staying at, that is an expense. You're also going to need to make sure that you be able to get potable water, which sometimes is free, but sometimes you do have to pay for that if you go to a place where you have to pay by the gallon. So I do love to say that boondocking is super, super cheap and way cheaper than staying at RV parks, but it is not free. So make sure you click subscribe, because I am gonna be talking about boondocking a lot more in a future episode. At the campground. Number 17 is you can just show up at any campground anytime and you're guaranteed a spot. Definitely not true. If you are traveling to a busy place during a busy time of the year, sometimes those RV parks book up literally months and months and months, and sometimes a full year in advance. Case in point, if you're going to Florida in the winter, you're gonna wanna book those spots a year in advance, because they definitely book up. And that kind of bums me out, because I love the flexibility of this life. However, if you know that you wanna go to a place that's gonna be really busy and popular during a certain time of year when you wanna be there, you need to make sure you book that up early. I know we're gonna be in the Rocky Mountains area during the fall, because I wanna see the fall colors, and I booked those RV parks up basically the day that they opened up, which I think was 8 months in advance. You can show up to a lot of RV parks during off seasons or during the middle of the week and be able to get a spot no problem, but do not expect that to be a guaranteed all the time at every RV park. Call ahead, ask if they have a spot for you, but honestly, if you're able to do a little bit of planning in those busy places, you're gonna wanna make sure you book those up pretty far in advance. Number 18 is that RV parks are just paid parking lots. this could not be further from the truth. There are two things that RV parks offer that are worth their weight in gold for me personally, and that is comfort and safety. I sleep really well at night knowing that I'm somewhere safe, and I'm able to go out and adventure during the day very comfortably and have a good time knowing that Finny is back home in the RV in a safe place. One of the best things about RV parks is you are surrounded, oh, hello, it's the wildlife. One of the best things that I love about RV parks is that you are surrounded by strangers, but you are always looking out for each other. And the other thing is, these are really beautiful places. They can be really beautiful places. Not all of them are really beautiful. I'm loving this one, surrounded by trees and picnic benches and campfire pits. I love RV parks. They're very comfortable for me, but they are so much more than just a paid parking lot. Number 19 is RV parks are always quiet and peaceful. I wish that was the case. RV parks in general are very quiet and peaceful places, but you're definitely gonna get RV parks where you're so close to your neighbor you can hear their TV, or you're gonna have kids next to you, or you're gonna be parked right next to the pool or the playground. About 90% of the time, RV parks are incredibly peaceful and quiet, but that other 10%, you're gonna get the train track that's nearby. The freeway that's nearby, the kids playing really loud, the noisy neighbor, you're gonna get that. But just know, if you do end up with that site next to the freeway or those noisy neighbors, all you gotta do is pack up your things and move on. It's not permanent, so don't worry if you get a noisy campground, just move on to the next one. Number 20 is RV park power is always reliable. This is not always the case. There are definitely times when it's really hot and an RV park is full and everybody's running their ACs 24/7, and you can absolutely pop the power grid at the RV park. And that is something that is unfortunate, but one of the biggest things we pay attention to is as soon as we plug in for power and we have nothing on, no AC, no nothing, we look to see how many volts we're getting. If we're getting like 120, 121, then we're pretty comfortable with the power grid at that RV park. However, if we're only getting about 116 with nothing on, no AC, just like sort of the basic lights, that's when we have to be very cautious about making sure that we are not leaving the RV when it's super hot, because if that power grid pops and we're gone and Finney's in the RV and it's 100 degrees outside, that could be really tragic. And so you do want to make sure that you pay attention to your power and how well that power grid seems to be working at your RV park. I'm going to talk about more of that in a future episode, but just know that RV parks are not 100% reliable with the power, but they're pretty cautiously 95% reliable. I want to take a quick minute to tell you about the Wandering RV Companion Guide that I've put together. If you are brand new to RVing or just thinking about it, this is the perfect guide for you to help you keep track of all the things that you need for RVing. There's a lot of information that you need to have when you're on the road, and keeping all that information organized in one place is super important. So I've put together a 30-page guide that has everything that you need for RVing all in one place. Everything from all the information you need for booking your campgrounds and keeping track of your campgrounds, as well as a place to put all of the things that you're excited to do in all the places that you plan on exploring. So if you're brand new to RVing or just at the very beginning stages of planning your RV lifestyle, check the link in the description below, because this guide is going to be perfect for you to keep track of everything that you need to keep track of and help you plan your epic adventures, because when you get an RV, you're definitely going to have some epic adventures and you want to make sure you keep track of them. Check that link in the description. I know it's going to be helpful for you. It is something that I wish that I had when I first started RVing, but I've done all the work for you. All you got to do is fill in the blanks and go out and adventure. Number 21 is, as long as you're plugged into shore power, you can use as much electricity as you want. And that is definitely not true. In our RV, if we are running the air conditioning, the microwave, and try to run the washer and dryer, it is going to pop a circuit. And so you want to make sure that you have a meter that monitors what your electrical volts are at that time. One of the things that uses a high amount of power that you don't think about is your hot water heater. So if I have the air conditioning running and I use the microwave, I will very often turn on the electrical hot water heater just to make sure that I don't pop a circuit when I turn that microwave on. So the myth of you can use as much power as you want in an RV is definitely not true. You do need to make sure you monitor that, because it is very easy to overload your power and pop that circuit. Living the RV life. Number 22, you'll constantly be dealing with the black tank. Not true. I know people love to tell their black tank stories. Every RVer has black tank stories. We definitely have ours. But the truth is the black tank is really not that big of a situation. It's not that big of a deal. You're gonna have to deal with it about once a week. But honestly, as long as you have a hose that doesn't have any little pinprick holes in it, you're gonna be totally fine. You're not gonna be dealing with your black tank very often. Once a week is about what I would expect to have to deal with it. Number 23 is RV toilets are smelly and gross. Totally not true. Just like any toilet anywhere, whether it's in your own house or in a public restroom, toilets are as gross as you allow them to be. I clean ours about once every 2 weeks-ish, and we empty our black tanks anytime we move, which is about once a week, and that's all there is to it. I will tell you that when it's hot, we can only go 1 week without emptying our black tanks before it starts to smell, but as soon as you empty that black tank, it's totally fine, there's no issues there. But as long as you clean your toilet, it's not gonna be smelly and gross. Like, that's not rocket science, just clean your toilet. Number 24, continuing on the toilet topic, you can use any toilet paper in your RV toilet. Not true. You want to make sure that you have a toilet paper that biodegrades really easily in water, because you will get a clog. If you use regular toilet paper in an RV toilet, when you go to empty your black tank, it will eventually clog up, and that creates a whole disaster. We've been in our RV for almost 7 years total in time, and we've never had a black tank clog, and that's because we use very specific RV toilet paper. I'll show you what we use. That's this right here. That's what we use, and we've never had any issues. So just know you do need to use a special kind of toilet paper, not just any kind. We get ours in the camping section of Walmart, and it's really not that big of a deal. Like, you have to buy toilet paper anyways. Just don't go buy like toilet paper from Costco, because that stuff is not going to work. And so anybody out there telling you you can use any RV toilet paper has obviously not been in an RV long enough to have a clog. Number 25, moving off the topic of toilets, is you'll never have decent internet. Not true. Some RV parks do have good internet. If your site is closer to the office, you do tend to have stronger internet if you're using campground internet. We are now strong advocates of Starlink, as I have said before in the past, and so I highly recommend getting Starlink if you're going to be doing this for a long period of time, and then you have super reliable internet just about anywhere in the country. So while I wouldn't say that you'll never have decent internet if you rely on RV park campground internet, but there's definitely some things that you can do to make internet better for you. And of course, I do have a video about that coming up, so make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to be talking about internet because it is important, especially for people like me who have to work from the road. Number 26 is RV life is lonely. Just like in regular life, RV life can be as lonely or as social as you want it to be. I personally am a little bit more of an introvert, a lot more of an introvert than I used to be. And so for me, having Garner and Finney is all I need. However, there's very often times at RV parks where they'll have social get-togethers, they'll have potlucks, they'll have community. Sometimes they'll bring in musicians and you can sit around and listen to music. You can be as social or as antisocial as you want to be, just like in normal life. So if you are already the type of personality that is super social and loves meeting your neighbors, you're gonna have no problems meeting people. Everybody in RV parks is super friendly. However, if you're a little bit more antisocial, sort of like me, and you tend to keep to yourself, it can definitely be a more secluded lifestyle, and I'm okay with that. I love it. Garner and I are fine with that. We've got each other, we've got Finney, that's all we need, but just know that RV life doesn't have to be lonely if you don't want it to be. Number 27, driving an RV is just like driving a car. I don't know how this myth came about. I've heard it. Oh, if you can drive a truck, you can drive an RV. Yeah, no. There's a lot of things, especially when it comes to turning and backing up and maneuvering, that are very different. I have driven our RV once or twice. I didn't enjoy it. I could do it if I had to, but it is not the same. Don't let anybody tell you that if you can drive a truck, you can drive an RV. However, with a little bit of practice, a little bit of patience, you can drive an RV no problem at all. Number 28 is everything breaks all the time. And if you've watched my videos before about RVing, you'll know that I have joked about you're constantly fixing things. And it does sometimes feel like that. I honestly feel like there's like not a day that goes by where we're not fixing something that's broken. It's not true. You are not spending your entire day fixing things. You're definitely spending some time, more time than you would in a regular home fixing things, but it is not something that you're doing every single day, all the time. It just sometimes feels like it. So take it with a grain of salt when people like me say that everything breaks all the time, because it's not true. It feels like it, but it's not true. Number 29, you can travel anywhere, anytime, no limits. That is definitely not true. Weather is a huge factor in where you can travel and when. I don't know if it really needs to be said, but maybe not going into tornado-prone areas during tornado season is a good idea. I mean, that's just a thing. You just want to make sure that you're paying attention. You are literally going to become a meteorologist because I check the weather constantly all the time, especially leading up to travel days, because you can't go anywhere anytime, especially if Mother Nature has decided that she doesn't want you there. You need to make sure that you're paying attention to fire season. If there's some really bad fires like there are right now, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that and not going into those places. You also want to watch for hurricanes during hurricane season. You definitely can't go anywhere anytime no matter what, but it's pretty close. You just want to be smart about where you're traveling and take into account that Mother Nature has lots of ideas and a lot of times they are not friendly for RVers. Number 30, and this is the last one, is RV lifestyle is accurately portrayed on social media. If only that were the case. I will tell you that not every view is beautiful. This one is. And this one was. And this one was. But this one was not. It is one of those things where RV life can absolutely be a beautiful lifestyle. I do wake up to beautiful views quite often, but not all the time. Content creators like me like to show the beautiful side of life because not everybody wants to hear about the complaining of things. The reality is there are things that are not so beautiful about this lifestyle, and I am here to definitely debunk some of the myths and give you a bit of a reality check of what RV life is like. I love this lifestyle, and there are times where I wake up in some of the most stunningly beautiful places, like watching bison literally outside my RV window. That is pretty epic. But there are a lot of things in between that are not so epic. So I'm definitely here to tell you that RV life is not all beautiful views and endless vacations. There is a lot to it, and I hope that you're enjoying this series because I have got so much to tell you, and I am gonna be super real about what this lifestyle is all about. The beautiful parts of it and the ugly parts of it, because if you're considering this lifestyle, I truly believe that you need to get a full picture and not just the glamorous one that social media likes to portray. I'm Krista. I'm on a quest to check off 1,000 bucket list adventures. Thank you so much for being here for this video. If you enjoyed this, be sure to click a thumbs up. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them for you, and I will see you for another 28 episodes. The next 28 Saturdays you'll be spending with me chatting about RV life and all of the ups and downs it has with it. And so next week I'm going to be talking about a lot of the mistakes that new RVers make, and don't worry, we've all made them. So I'm going to tell you what those mistakes are, how you can sometimes avoid them, and how to just get past them when you do make those mistakes, because they will happen. So make sure you come back next week for that video. Thanks for being here, and I will see you on the next adventure. Bye. And it's You Have a Boss. Why is there a bug in front of the screen? Get away, bug. Ugh, it's a spider.